Chinese immigrants were vital to Western expansion, especially in railroad work. Earning less than white workers and managing their own camps, they faced growing resentment, which led to racist laws like the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, the first major U.S. anti-immigration law. Real cowboys of the Old West were rugged laborers who spent long days herding cattle across open plains. Their guns were more for practical use, like fending off predators or putting down sick livestock, than for fighting outlaws. Life was tough, simple, and often fulfilling. Terry's Texas Rangers, the 8th Texas Cavalry, were a legendary Confederate unit formed in 1861 by Colonel Benjamin Franklin Terry. Over 4 intense years, they fought in 275 battles across 7 states before surrendering in 1865 alongside the Army of Tennessee. George Armstrong Custer, born in 1839, rose through the U.S. Army ranks despite graduating last in his West Point class. Known for bravery and recklessness, he met his end in 1876 at the Battle of Little Bighorn, overwhelmed by Lakota and Cheyenne forces. Crossing the Sierra Nevada mountains was among the most perilous parts of heading west. Steep paths, unpredictable weather, and deadly rock slides made the journey treacherous. Even with hired armed guards, travelers faced nature's brutal, uncontrollable forces. The Rufus Buck Gang, composed of Black and Creek Indian men, terrorized the Arkansas-Oklahoma region from 1895 to 1896. Their crimes, robbery, rape, and murder, shocked the public. Captured after a short reign of violence, all members were hanged in 1896 for their brutal acts. Pearl Hart, a Canadian-born outlaw, became one of the few notorious women of the Wild West. Inspired by Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, she left her husband and robbed a stagecoach in Arizona in 1899. Caught soon after, she served 3 years of a 5-year sentence. Belle Starr, born Myra. Maybelle Shirley Reed Starr in 1848 became known as the Bandit Queen of the Wild West. Though she maintained a ladylike image, riding side saddle and wearing velvet, she carried pistols and was convicted of horse theft. Her unsolved murder in 1889 remains a mystery. Kit Carson, born Christopher Houston. Carson in 1809 was a legendary frontiersman, trapper, scout, and U.S. Army officer. Known for his role in westward expansion, Carson spent years among Native American tribes, even marrying 2 Native women and later a Mexican woman. His exploits helped shape California's early development, though his legacy is complex. He aided U.S. campaigns that displaced many Native peoples. This newspaper image captures the real look of a Wild West cowboy. The large sombrero-style hat wasn't just for show, it protected from harsh sun during long days outdoors. Clothing like this was practical, built for survival in the unforgiving western frontier. In Montana, 1889, mining was tough and risky labor. While owners profited greatly, miners earned fair wages but faced dangers like mine collapses, toxic gases, and chronic pain from grueling work. The harsh conditions shaped the difficult reality of mining life in the American West. Buffalo Bill's Cowboys were the stars of his Wild West show, reenacting dramatic gunfights, sometimes with live ammunition. Only skilled sharpshooters were hired to avoid fatal accidents during performances. The job paid well and offered travel, making it an attractive life. In the Wild West, pistols weren't just tools, they were status symbols and style statements. A cowboy's gun reflected his identity, power, and reputation. In portraits, men often made sure their firearms were visible, proudly displaying them like badges of masculinity and pride. John C. H. Graubill, born in Ohio and raised in Illinois, began his career in mining before shifting to photography. He became known for documenting the American West, especially South Dakota, Wyoming, and Colorado. The Library of Congress holds 188 of his historic images today. Wyatt Earp and Bat Masterson were lawmen and gamblers who earned their reputations in the Wild West. This 1876 photo, taken in Dodge City, shows the duo known for their roles in frontier justice, especially Earp's part in the OK Corral shootout. Buffalo Bill's Wild West show featured elk and black elk, two Oglala Lakota dancers who performed traditional dances in full regalia. Traveling as far as Europe, they introduced native culture to massive audiences, including royalty, in the late 1800s. Kramer's Saloon in Michigan may not scream Wild West, but it shows the classic saloon layout: a long bar along one wall, stools or standing room, and patrons unwinding over drinks. Bars like this were standard across America, not just the frontier. The original Buffalo Soldiers were members of the 10th Cavalry Regiment, formed in 1866 at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. Native Americans gave them the name for their dark, curly hair, which they said resembled a buffalo's. The term later came to include all Black Army units. Olive Oatman was 14 when her family was killed in 1851 by a native tribe. She and her sister were taken and later traded to the Mojave, who tattooed both girls' chins. Her sister died of starvation, but Olive survived and was released, forever marked by the ordeal. Bass Reeves, 1838 to 1910, was the first black deputy U.S. Marshal west of the Mississippi. A former slave, he made over 3,000 arrests and killed 14 outlaws in self-defense. He was known for his integrity, expert marksmanship, and preference for taking fugitives alive. Billy the Kid, born Henry McCarty, 1859 to 1881, was a notorious outlaw of the American West. He gained fame during the Lincoln County War in New Mexico and was rumored to have killed 27 men, though the true number was likely fewer. He was shot and killed at age 21. Jesse James, 1847 to 1882, fought as a Confederate guerrilla at 17, then led a notorious outlaw gang in Missouri. Though newspapers painted him as a Robin Hood figure, there's no proof he shared his loot beyond his gang. His legend often overshadows the harsh realities of his crimes. Outlaw Belle Starr, 1848 to 1889, was arrested in 1886 by Deputy U.S. Marshal Charles Barnhill. Dubbed the Bandit Queen by the National Police Gazette, her story captured public attention, blending outlaw notoriety with a wild, rebellious image that made her one of the Old West's most famous female criminals. Construction of a railroad bridge in Green River Valley, Wyoming, circa 1868. The striking Citadel Rock rises in the background, highlighting the rugged terrain engineers had to overcome to expand railroads westward, a vital step in connecting the expanding United States during the post-Civil War era. Pinkerton's mugshot of Laura Bullion, 1876 to 1961, taken in 1893. As a member of Butch Cassidy's Wild Bunch, she took part in the Great Northern Train robbery, earning a 5-year prison sentence in 1901. Afterward, she lived quietly in Memphis, but died in poverty in 1961. A mound of bison skulls from the 1870s shows the U.S. Army's effort to end native resistance by destroying buffalo herds, vital to native food and culture. From 60 million bison, only about 300 remained by century's end, until protections helped the population rebound to roughly 200,000 today. In this 1903 photo, a black sheriff in Pocatello, Idaho, sits proudly on his horse. Nearly 1 in 4 Wild West cowboys were black, though their stories are often overlooked. After the Civil War, cowboy work was one of the few dignified jobs open to men of color. After the Civil War, many freed slaves settled the American West, seeking to escape their past and find a better future. The West offered more freedom from the rigid prejudices of the East, allowing them to build new lives with greater opportunity and less oppression.